Hello and welcome back to my channel. What if I told you that this golden pothos has been growing and thriving only in water for 3 years? Would you believe it? No soil, no fancy setup, just a glass jar and clean water. And yes, it's absolutely possible. Today I wanna share the real truth about how to grow golden pothos in water. Light, temperature and watering habits all play a huge role in long-term success, so I'll walk you through everything step by step. And stay until the end, because I will also show you the difference between my soil-grown pothos and this one that has been living in water all this time. To be honest, I never planned to grow my golden pothos in water. This whole journey started 3 years ago when my large pothos in soil began yellowing one winter. The air conditioning was drying the soil too quickly and the plant started struggling. To save it, I took a few healthy cuttings and placed them in this jar with small stones at the bottom to keep them upright. My plan was to propagate them and plant them back in soil, but then weeks passed and then months, and the roots just kept growing. One day I realized they had wrapped tightly around the stones, filled the entire jar, and became so strong that I simply decided to leave them in water permanently. And now you can see it. 3 years later, it's beautiful, healthy, lush, and over 3 feet long. Growing golden pothos in water is very simple and you really don't need any special equipment. All you need is clean glass or jar. Transparent containers are great because you can see the roots as they grow and you can notice any early signs of algae or rot. But if you prefer, your pothos can grow in darker container as well. It's not a problem at all. Next is the water. Room temperature water works best. Tap water is perfectly fine in most homes. I use tap water most of the time and the roots stayed completely healthy. The only downside is that chlorine can make the jar look dirty over time. And if your tap water is very hard, filtered or rainwater might be a better option. Then of course you need healthy pothos cuttings. Make sure they have at least 1 or 2 nodes. That's where the new roots will form. I've noticed that cuttings with leaves close to the node root faster. But even if your cutting doesn't have leaves, don't worry. It will still root and grow new leaves. It just takes a little more time. Use sharp, clean scissors when taking your cuttings so you don't introduce any bacteria. You can also place a small stone or pebble at the bottom of the jar to keep the stems upright. It's completely optional, but it helps prevent the cuttings from floating around. And that's really all you need to start growing your golden pothos in water, nothing complicated. And if you want to see exactly how I cut the vines and propagate pothos step by step, you can watch my older video. I'll leave the link in the description and in the pinned comment. Let's move now to the most important thing when growing pothos in water, and that's the light. Good light is really the key to strong roots, healthy leaves and steady long-term growth. Pothos can adapt to many conditions, but it always grows best in bright indirect light. If you place it in a brighter spot, you will notice bigger leaves, stronger variegation and a much fuller look over time. A bit of gentle morning or afternoon sun is completely fine. It actually helps the plant grow faster. But avoid harsh midday sunlight because pothos leaves burn very fast. And also be careful with direct sunlight hitting the glass jar. The water can heat up quickly and that encourages algae. If the light is too low, your pothos will still survive, but the growth will slow down. The internodes stretch, the new leaves come in smaller, and the roots won't develop as strongly as they could. So giving your pothos a bright spot makes a huge difference, and later in this video you will see exactly how light affected the growth of my 2 pothos plants. Now, let's talk a little bit about watering. The good thing about growing pothos in water is that you really don't need to change the water very often. If the water is clean, you can simply top up the jar as it evaporates. Don't replace all the water every week because that can disturb the little balanced environment that forms around the roots over time. Pothos actually prefers this slow and gentle refresh rather than sudden full water changes. What I usually do is just top up the jar as needed, and then once every 2 months I change the whole water. This keeps the oxygen level steady and allows beneficial microorganisms to grow naturally. I know my jar looks pretty dirty from chlorine and minerals, but the roots are wrapped so tightly around the stones that I can't take them out without breaking the jar. So I simply place the whole thing in the bathtub and rinse the roots well with clean water. Inside, the water stays fresh. It's really just the glass that looks stained. If the water becomes cloudy, dirty, or starts to smell, then it's time to clean the jar properly. Rinse the roots gently under running water, wash the container, and refill it with clean water. At this point, you can also add a little 3% hydrogen peroxide to help reduce bacteria and keep everything fresher without harming the plant. And one last thing, always make sure the nodes stay underwater because that's where new roots form. As your plant grows, check the water level from time to time because long roots can make the water drop faster than you expect. And since we are already talking about water, let me quickly mention fertilizing because a lot of people ask if pothos in water ever needs it. The answer is yes, but only a tiny amount and only once in a while. When a plant grows in water, the roots are more sensitive, so use a diluted liquid fertilizer and add just a small drop every few months. That's more than enough. Too much fertilizer can burn the roots or encourage algae, so it's always better to keep it light. And if you choose not to fertilize at all, that's completely fine. Pothos grows beautifully in plain water. Fertilizer just gives it a small extra boost if you want faster growth or bigger leaves. So the rule is simple. Use very little, dilute it well, and don't add too frequently. When it comes to temperature, pothos in water likes the same conditions as pothos in soil. Regular room temperature is perfect, anywhere between 65 and 85 degrees works well. Just avoid cold drafts or placing the jar right under an air conditioner because sudden chills can slow growth and cause yellowing. As long as the plant stays in warm, stable spot, the roots stay active and the leaves look fresh. Nothing complicated. Now let me show you the difference between my two pothos plants. Both were started around the same time, one in soil and the other in water. The water-grown pothos lives in a warmer room close to a west-facing window where it gets gentle afternoon sun. The soil one is about 5 feet away from an east-north facing window in a cooler room with softer light. It's also healthy, but its colors are softer and the growth is slower simply because the conditions are different. The light is weaker and the watering pattern is naturally less consistent. The difference in color is also very noticeable. The water-grown pothos has brighter leaves with stronger variegation because it receives more light, while the soil-grown one has deeper, darker green tones from being in softer light. This really shows how much light, warmth and consistent hydration influence pothos growth. With good light, stable warmth and clean water, you can absolutely grow a pothos in water for years, just like mine. And if you ever decide to move your water-grown pothos back into soil, you can do that too. Just keep in mind that the plant will need a short adjustment period while those water roots adapt to their new environment. I hope I have covered all the important things from my experience, but if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. If this video was helpful for you, don't forget to like it and subscribe to my channel for more plant care tips. Thanks for watching and happy growing!